Okay, this is the United States and China's turn 2. This is the American money and purchases. This is the Chinese money and purchases. The United States in our special rule system gets to buy tech for 10 IPCs from anybody that they're not at war with. So from the Japanese, which they're currently not at war with, the United States is going to be purchasing their super carrier technology for 10 IPCs. With the other money that they have 58 IPCs to spend. They're going to spend 20 IPCs on 2 fighters, 6 IPCs on 2 infantry, 8 IPCs on a destroyer, and they're going to save 2 IPCs for next turn. The Chinese have 15 IPCs. They're going to spend it all on infantry because that's actually all they can buy, so they'll buy 5 infantry. There is no American combat because they're not at war yet, but China will be attacking in 3 locations. No surprise there. They're pushing back against the Japanese, and so they will be attempting to take Suiyuan with 4 infantry from Shenxi. They'll be attempting to take Hopei with 6 infantry from Shenxi, and they'll be attempting to retake Kwaichao with 2 infantry from Shenxi plus the fighter from Qinghai. So we'll set up all of the battles there and we'll roll those out. There's 3 battles to roll. Sorry, I left out one of the purchases for the United States. 12 IPCs for a strategic bomber. Sorry about that. Fixed. Okay, the battle for Suiyuan. China's coming in with 4 infantry, and Japan is defending with 1 infantry. That's a hit. So China has won the battle, but Japan does get to fire back. And hits. So China loses an infantry, but takes the territory with a single casualty. Okay, the battle for Hopei. China's coming in with 6 infantry against the Japanese 1 infantry. No hits. Japan. Miss. China. 2 hits. They only needed 1, so the battle's over. But Japan gets a chance to defend and does not do so. So China takes that territory with no casualties. Okay, the battle for Kwaichao. China's coming with 2 infantry and their American volunteer fighter. 2 hits, so battle's over, but Japan does get to defend and misses. So China takes the territory with no casualties. Okay, non-combat moves for the United States. We'll start over here. They're going to rail this infantry from the eastern United States all the way over to the western United States. They will also be railing the 2 anti-aircraft artillery from the western United States all the way over to the eastern United States. Most of the rest is naval activity. So what's going to happen here is the 2 carriers along with their 2 fighters plus a transport containing an infantry and a tank are going to make their way to C-Zone 7. The naval contingent in C-Zone 11 is going to go into C-Zone 26 and drop these guys off in Hawaii. From Hawaii, the two of the 3 fighters are going to make their way to C-Zone 7 and join the new join the carriers that are over there. The remaining fighter plus the strategic bomber, which is still going to be an air transport, is going to pick up 2 infantry and fly them to Midway. The remaining transport over here will pick up this mechanized infantry and move it to Hawaii to join the troops there. What else? The infantry and artillery are going to be picked up from Hawaii and go on the transport, and along with the transport, a sub, a destroyer, and a cruiser are going to make their way to C-Zone 16. As is the fully loaded carrier here in C-Zone 31. I just want to double check where the sub is going there. C-Zone 23. They're going to go to C-Zone 25, so they're going to go to Midway. The sub and the destroyer from C-Zone 23 are going to end up in C-Zone 25. So that's all the American movement. In terms of the Chinese movement, the only thing that we have to do is the plane will go back to Shanghai and stay there. Okay? All right, that is that. I will tidy up the board and we'll come back with placements and money. Okay, U.S. placements. Their new destroyer is going to be placed in C-Zone 101. Their new infantry, or one of their two new infantry, is going to go in the eastern United States, and one of their new fighters is going to go into the central United States. Over here on the Pacific side, the rest of their purchases will be placed in the western United States. An infantry, a fighter, and a strategic bomber. Okay. The Chinese purchases will all be placed in Sichuan. All 5 infantry there. Okay, Chinese income adjustments. They do need to change Sui Yuan, Hopei, and Kwai Chao back to Chinese control, so that's 3 IPCs difference. So on the income tracker for China, we bring them from 5 to 8, and we bring Japan down from 33 to 30. So income, that means that the Chinese do get 8 IPCs. They don't get a bonus this time because the Burma Road is still closed. The U.S. collects 52 IPCs of income for their base income. They get no bonuses right now. But my opponent did save 2 IPCs from this turn, and remember that the United States does get to roll for propaganda, which was a technology that they purchased last turn. So here we go. $1. Okay, so they're going to get 55 IPCs to spend this turn. It looks like rags are riches for the United States. They got max dollars on their propaganda last time. This time they get min dollars on their propaganda. So, in terms of disposition of forces for the Americans, in the Atlantic, in the eastern United States, 1 infantry, 3 mechanized infantry, and 4 anti-aircraft artillery. In the central United States, 1 fighter, and in C-Zone 101, we have a destroyer. Over here on the Pacific side of the board, in the western United States, there is a strategic bomber, a fighter, and 2 infantry. Over in Hawaii, there are 2 infantry, 1 artillery, and 1 mechanized infantry. In the C-Zone surrounding Hawaii, which is C-Zone 26, there are 2 transports, 1 destroyer, 2 cruisers, and 1 battleship. In Midway, there is a strategic bomber that is currently in air transport. There is a fighter, and there are 2 infantry. In C-Zone 25, around Midway, are a destroyer and a submarine. In C-Zone, there's quite a force here. In C-Zone 16, along with the Japanese destroyer, there is a fully loaded carrier, well, not fully loaded now because these are super carriers, but 2/3 loaded carrier with a fighter and a tactical bomber. There is a loaded transport in the C-Zone with an infantry and an artillery, and there are a submarine, a destroyer, and a cruiser. In C-Zone 7, there are 2 carriers, each with 2 fighters on board, and there is a fully loaded transport with a tank and an infantry. Over in the Philippines, the Americans still have their original 2 infantry in Manila there. And then for the Chinese forces, they are spread out a little bit on the board, but there are 3 infantry in Sui Yuan, 6 infantry in Hopei, 2 infantry in Kwai Chao, and 5 brand new infantry in Sichuan, along with the American volunteer fighter in Shanghai. So that is the U.S. and China turn. UK is up next, and we're going to see what they do about defending their little island. So that's the next video. Stay tuned.